All right, everyone, thanks for tuning in for another deep dive with us.
Hmm.
Today, we're going to be tackling something that I think we can all relate to, and that is the world of public Wi-Fi,
Right.
those free connections that we see at the coffee shop at the airport. And we always tell ourselves,
Oh, you.
like, oh, it's fine, I'll just do it this once. But
Yeah.
how much is that convenience actually costing us?
Exactly.
So to guide us through this discussion today, we've actually got a really interesting mix of sources.
Yeah.
We've got the FTC's advice, which is always a good place to start,
Of
right?
course. Yeah, the official word.
But then we've also got a really lively Reddit debate that I found, which I thought brought up some really interesting points.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And some articles, too, just to round things out.
Yeah, always good to have different perspectives.
Yeah. Exactly. And speaking of perspectives, one that really caught my eye was this Forbes Advisor article that found that 40%
40%. Wow.
of people have had their information compromised on public Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's a surprisingly high number, right?
It is. I mean, that's a lot of people
Yeah.
who maybe thought they were being careful or just, didn't really think anything bad could happen.
Right. It's kind of like that thing where you assume you're one of the lucky ones or it's not going to happen to me
Exactly.
until it does.
So I guess the big question here is, even with all the security measures we hear about these days, is public Wi-Fi still risky?
It's true that things have gotten better, like with HTTPS encryption and all that.
Right.
But here's the thing. It's still not foolproof.
Okay.
Imagine, like, you're at a crowded coffee shop, right? And instead of whispering a secret, you just shout it out for everyone to hear.
Oh, no.
That's kind of what sending data over an unencrypted network is like.
Really?
Your passwords, your credit card details, all just out there in the open for anyone to snatch up.
So basically, like, using public Wi-Fi is like broadcasting my personal info to the entire coffee shop.
Well, in a way, yeah, if it's not encrypted, that's essentially what you're doing.
Okay, not good. Not good at all.
And then there's the issue of unsecured networks.
Right, like those ones where you just kind of connect without a password or anything?
Exactly. Anyone can join, and you have no idea who they are or what they're up to.
It's like leaving your front door wide open and hoping for the best.
Pretty much. And even if you're on a network that seems secure, there are still risks, like those man-in-the-middle attacks.
Okay, those sound kind of scary. How do those work?
So basically, a hacker gets between you and the network and intercepts your data like a digital eavesdropper.
So they can see everything I'm doing online.
Potentially, yeah. And they can even inject malware onto your device without you knowing.
So it's not just about someone seeing my embarrassing browsing history. It's about them getting access to my entire digital life.
Exactly. And there's another thing that really stood out to me from that Reddit thread we mentioned earlier.
The one about smartphones automatically connecting to certain networks?
Yeah, exactly. That one.
I gotta admit, I was a little creeped out by that.
Yeah, it turns out some smartphones have this setting where they'll automatically connect to partner networks, even if you don't realize it.
So I could be at my usual coffee shop, thinking I'm on their Wi-Fi, but actually be connected to something completely different.
It's possible. And that's where things can get really tricky because you might think you're on a trusted network, but you actually aren't.
Hold on, so my phone could be making decisions about my Wi-Fi connections without me even knowing.
In a way, yes. If you have that auto connect setting turned on, it's basically making those decisions for you.
That is not ideal, to say the least.
Yeah, it's definitely something to be aware of.
Okay, so my phone is basically playing Wi-Fi roulette behind my back.
Basically.
And I'm just supposed to be okay with that.
Well, not exactly.
So what can I do about it? I mean, it sounds like we're surrounded by digital landmines here.
It can feel that way, but honestly, a little awareness goes a long way.
Okay, give me some good news then. What can I actually do to stay safe on public Wi-Fi?
First things first, always check for that padlock icon in your browser bar.
The one that tells you if a website is secure or not.
Exactly. That little padlock is your best friend when it comes to public Wi-Fi.
Okay, padlock check. Got it.
And this might seem obvious, but make sure you're connecting to the right network.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, sometimes you might think you're connecting to the coffee shop Wi-Fi, but it could be some random network with a similar name.
Oh, sneaky. I've definitely almost done that before.
It happens, and then there are VPNs.
VPNs, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I hear about those everywhere, but I'm not totally sure what they do.
Basically, a VPN creates a secure connection between your device and the internet, encrypting your traffic and masking your IP address.
So it's like a secret tunnel for my data.
Exactly. No one can see what you're doing or where you're going.
And the GNWT document we have here seems to agree they specifically recommend using a VPN for any kind of sensitive transaction.
Absolutely, especially if you're dealing with financial information or anything like that.
Got it. VPN equals good digital hygiene.
Exactly. And speaking of digital hygiene, let's talk about AutoConnect.
Oh, yeah, my phone is obsessed with that feature.
Turn it off.
Just like that.
Well, okay, maybe not just like that, but you should definitely consider it.
Because it could be connecting me to shady networks without my permission.
Exactly. It's like giving someone else the keys to your house. You don't want to do that.
All right. AutoConnect officially off my list.
Hmm.
And are there any other precautions I should be taking?
Well, Trend Micro also had a good point about keeping your software updated.
Updates.
I know they can be annoying, but they often include important security patches.
So basically like digital duct tape for those vulnerabilities we were talking about earlier.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so it's like digital self-defense.
Exactly.
I'm ready to up my game, but where do I even start?
Well, the good news is most of this stuff is actually pretty easy to do.
Okay, so give me the quick version.
Yeah.
If I only remember 3 things from this whole deep dive, what should they be?
3 things. All right, let's see. Yeah. Number 1, always check for that padlock icon.
Right, secure connection.
Exactly. That's your first line of defense.
Got it.
Number 2, use a VPN.
Like a secret tunnel for my data.
Exactly. And make sure you choose a reputable one.
Okay, noted.
And number 3, turn off AutoConnect on your devices.
No more Wi-Fi roulette.
Exactly. You want to be in control of where your information is going.
That makes sense. I mean, it's kind of scary how much we just trust those free Wi-Fi networks without thinking.
It is, yeah. We often don't realize how much we're giving up for that convenience.
Yeah, exactly. So next time I'm at the coffee shop about to hop online, I'll be sure to ask myself, is this really free?
That's the right mindset to have, because sometimes that free Wi-Fi can end up costing you a lot more in the long run.
Truth. And for those of you who want to dive even deeper into this whole world of public Wi-Fi safety, we've got links to all the sources we talked about in the show notes.
Yeah, definitely check those out.
But for now, I think we've earned ourselves a real cup of coffee.
I could go for one.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. And remember, stay safe out there.